today we are fixing a problem that took me a long time to figure out what, well, I actually didn't figure it out. One of you guys did actually. That infamous knock in the front end that first noticed in Tassie, 2018, so yeah, well 2 years ago, almost to the day. And then Cape York, you would have seen us stuffing around under the vehicle, and that's when I sort of tweaked about where actually the knock was. I wasn't sure if it was hub, I wasn't sure if it was axle, I didn't know if it was, yeah, I didn't know. And then someone, I can't remember who it was, but commented on YouTube, so thanks to whoever it was, and it was my radius arm bolts on the axle housing that are flogged out. So I pulled off, it always sounded like it was on my left hand, like passenger side. So I've removed I've just got everything. Yeah, radius arms out, just hanging down there by a sway bar. I'll show you exactly where the issue is. So if you can see that bolt, how much movement that's got. That's exactly what the problem was, where the noise was coming from. So when you flex or you articulate your suspension, the forces would just go, it would sit in a, whether it be up or down, I would imagine it would sit there, but when it flexed it would clunk to fit, to go back into the bottom side of that elongated hole, and then it would always sound like it reset, so when it come back to sitting on level ground, it would click back, and it was quite a loud, aggressive noise. It sounded horrible. It sounded like something was going to break. So yeah, I'm glad that I found the problem with a bit of help. So now we need to fix it. There's probably a couple ways you can do it. You could probably, you could weld in there and re-drill it if you were pretty good. But yeah, I don't know, it just seemed like a bit of a pain in the neck trying to re-drill that exactly where it needs to be. So I've got a couple of these M16 washers. They're quite a thick gauge, they'd be like 4mm. I'm basically going to, I've got that caster plate on the back there that comes with these radius arms. They're Superior Hyperflex, I think they are. So you can see how much tighter that washer is. There's like no movement in that, so that's how it should be. So I'm basically going to run a weld around that. I've got that caster plate on so I know where that washer needs to be welded, like where the hole should be. Yeah, basically going to tack that, put the other on the other side, tack that, and then make sure everything fits and lines up still. If it all does, we'll go ahead and weld it. But then the next issue, because these radius arms have these caster plates on it, obviously that won't sit flush against where it used to on the actual, on the mount for the radius arm. So I'm gonna have to get, this one's not critical because that doesn't, if you can see in there somewhere, I should get some light down there, but yeah, that one doesn't actually sit on the plate on the side of the diff housing. This one, that's the M14 bolt, that just goes straight through to a bush on the arm. But these two, I'll need to get machined out and take out the thickness of that washer, or even a fraction more, so that whole plate sits flush back over where it should. Just about to start welding or tacking those washers on. First things first, we need to disconnect batteries. It's no good for computers and whatever in vehicles, so that's my understanding of it. I'm not a professional, so every time I do any welding on a vehicle, I just take them off like it's a precaution. Got my earth clamp sitting on there, a vice grip sitting on there too, holding that washer, so I'll tack that, pull the vice grip off, do the other side, make sure the bolt goes through with the bush in between, and we'll be happy days. Now I've just pulled I've completely compressed my shock, just with all these bloody motorbike straps, just so I don't get any sparks, any welding splatter or anything on that shaft. That'd be devastating. So once again, vice grips on there, holding that washer where it needs to be, earth clamp over there. Get this one tacked on and we'll do the other side. are going to be snug as a bug. So I've tacked them two sides on. I'm not quite happy with the bottom one, hence why you tack it and you don't just fully weld it and then move on to the next. Because that hole was elongated, that washer could go, or that bolt can go anywhere in that section. That top one's good, so I'm just gonna nip off these two tacks, buff it back, and reset that washer before I move to the other side. Double check it. It seems pretty bloody good. So once again, happy with that bolt. Is just going to pull that bolt back a little bit so I don't get welding splatter. I know it's only a tack, but get that clamp on there somewhere. No, my helmet's right over there. Oh. Get this one tacked on, and then we'll tack the top on the other side. Beautiful. Heaps of hot things. Well, I'm not a welder, but for the sake of the exercise, it'll do the trick. It's not going to come off. They were two easy ones. I've got to get back in the backside and try and do them. So, see how we go. So we'll give them a quick clean up. They obviously need some paint or else it will rust, so we'll chuck some etch primer and a bit of an enamel top coat. It's no powder coat, but I'm not going to pull it all apart and get it powder coated. Let it cool down first. Yeah, and do the other side. I think this was the worst side, but we'll still do the other side anyway. I'm back to putting it together. I still need to get the plates machined to sit flush on these, but my radius arm needs to be pulled back. Sorry, my axle needs to be pulled back, so I'll just replace that bike strap for a ratchet strap. And as I pull that, watch your jack stands, but yeah, it should get bloody close. Another couple moves. There it is. So we'll slide all them bolts in. You can see the gap in between this actual bracket that mounts to your radius arm and the superior caster plate on the outside. Yeah, I have to machine 4mm out of these caster plates to get them nice and flush. I think that will be a much better finish of the job. But yeah, we can tackle that side now. That knock happens when I drive out of the driveway, so I might even chuck a tyre on it, a wheel on it, and go and see if it's fixed it. Fingers crossed. Moment of truth. Oh, it's better. It's definitely better. Just to move over to the driver's side now. I can't be bothered. I hate doing the second side of anything or making multiples of anything. It sucks. The first time's not too bad, but I think you just got to crank the tunes, get it done. Well, it's starting to warm up. I think it's 37 degrees outside, so yeah, fun and games. This is the driver's side. I thought this side was going to be better, but yes, probably the same, if not worse. Not good, not good. Do the same thing, clean up the body where I'm going to weld the washers on. So it's a nice clean weld. You don't want paint and powder coat and dirt and mud in there while you're welding. It's going to be crap weld otherwise. Line it all up again with the bolts and the plates. This one will be a nightmare because that diff housing is sitting right there for that backside one. But we'll get her. She'll be right. All right. Caster plates are back off. The wizard himself is going to machine these. He's picking me up in a minute. So, yeah. The washers we welded on, I basically just circled what I want. It's around 32, 33-ish mil. It doesn't really matter. But I don't want it too deep. It's about 4 mil deep. Yeah. We'll go and see what Matt can do on the mill. Righto, Matty boy.
G'day, mate.
What's first on the agenda?
First, we have to turn down a cutting tool to fit inside that collar. It's the biggest I've got. So we'll go that and then start doing some milling.
There's some nice pieces of machinery kicking around here.
Brand new workshop. Fucking a lot better than where it used to be. Ultimate Engineering.
Safety boots, obviously a must. These are the caster plates that go on the side of the radius arms. I've roughly drawn sort of what I need to cover the washer, so the washers won't, this will sit flush on the housing and this will sit flush on the washers I've welded on. So this is where the professional comes in. There it is, eh, Matt?
There it is.
That's bloody gorgeous.
Happy with that?
Yeah, that's nice. Very nice.
Still 8 more columns.
That is exactly a 4 mil depth. That's a better view there, you can see it. So that will sit flush on the washer and flush on the rest of the bracket on the diff housing. That is bloody marvellous, Matt. You've done a hell of a job. Love it. All 4 plates done. Very nice. What a genius. Happy days. Hopefully that fixes that bloody knock that we've been listening to for about 2 years. Maddie has bloody done a marvellous job of this. I've given him a good clean up, an etch primer, and then an enamel top coat, just because that zinc plating, now that's been taken off, that would have rusted. So, other than going to get them powder coated, which I wasn't going to do, we will do the trick. Now, basically just need to install them. Into the black hole. Sing for my soul. Oh, I think we're done. That was a nightmare. This side with the diff housing, because it's off-centered. This side, driver's side that is. Nightmare to get into that top bush and weld them washers on. Very tight. But I think we're pretty well good to go. Just attach these terminals to the batteries. Might even reward myself with a nice cold beer. Real treat. That job I've been dreading for some time. It's pretty well done. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. What else you gotta do? Comment, pay out my welds, yeah, and whatever else I did wrong. Thank you.